As it's red because it's sending a signal, but yeah. Anyhow, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
Mm-hmm. Hitting publish.
Publishing has happened. We are now live.
What?
Welcome to the one, the only SiftPop Weekly. I don't know why I made it all dramatic like that. I decided.
Into it, man.
There are a few people watching already. Thank you for hanging out. Feel free to jump into the chat if you have a question or something you want to say. This is the time to get it in. Once we start getting into the show, we'll be more focused on that. But yeah, if you have anything you want to say, you can do that now. Once again, another 10:30 recording time in the AM. Andrew has managed to survive these early morning recordings.
It's fine, actually. I just have as soon as I have my breakfast, my normal breakfast, it feels like I just woke up at the regular time. So, yeah.
Nice. Your body just kind of gets into a new cycle quickly.
As soon as food enters me, it's like, okay, it's time to wake up.
Interesting. Yeah.
I wake up in the middle of the night to have food, and then I go back to bed. That's not healthy, people.
Somebody should invent an alarm clock that just shoves food down your throat.
Oh, gosh. It's lonely.
And just be like, oh, okay, I'm awake now.
Yeah. I have egg whites, turkey bacon, and a spinach wrap.
That's nice.
And a banana.
That's very healthy.
It is very healthy.
That's a good breakfast right there.
And a cup of orange juice.
Oh, nice.
And then the rest of the day, I just eat the most horrible food. But I like to start my day off right.
Nice.
Everything else is totally wrong.
How's the sound, Phil, before we...
It's a little high.
What would you like us to do?
I would say whatever the send is that goes down this cable here.
That's the main, isn't it then?
No, the main doesn't do it. It's one of these.
A or one.
It's not A. It's not... Maybe it is A.
A.
All right, I'm gonna turn this down. You tell me if that helps. Does that help?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Working.
Let's try that.
Everything good?
I'm gonna listen to
Andrew,
it
you can probably eat the mic a little bit more too. There, yes. See, now you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Your lips should accidentally touch the mic every once in a while. That's what I was always taught.
I'm always afraid of like beard, like.
Oh, like beard noises?
Yeah.
Do that again. Let me see if I can hear it. Just ever so slightly, though.
That's beautiful.
I use beard oil, so it's
beard
really
noises.
soft.
Beautiful beard noises. Mason says it's sounding better.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it was a little hot.
So, well, we can't help ourselves.
Hey.
We're just a little hot.
There we go.
That's just how it works. Artist Project says he's just naming movies now. Maleficent, Zombieland Double Tap, Jojo Rabbit. Are these movies with a purpose?
Yeah, these are like the rest of the year movies.
Upcoming movies he's excited about.
Cool. Parasite.
Ooh, I'm excited about Parasite.
Mark says hi there. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
It's very nice to have you with us. Yeah, very excited about Parasite. Excited about Jojo Rabbit. Yep, excited about those.
Taika Waititi playing Hitler.
And The Lighthouse.
Ooh, Lighthouse is already out, I think. It's probably not anywhere around.
That's dangerous. If The Lighthouse is out.
Well, it's during the day. I don't think that The Lighthouse needs to be on.
It's night somewhere, man.
It's a black and white film starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. It looks amazing.
Next week we'll probably do Maleficent. That's kind of the big release. We may do another twofer. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what else is coming out
depends on what
next week.
else we may have access to.
Yeah.
Oh,
what was the Laundromat? Isn't that next week?
Oh, does that drop on Netflix next week?
I don't
know. I don't know either.
Well, I know
it's
we're
that
talking
time
about
of year.
Netflix this week.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Buck Hoovian says Frozen 2. Yes, I'm with you. I am so with you.
You're with me on the bleh?
No, I'm with Buck on Frozen 2.
You guys probably aren't doing Zombieland.
I hope we are.
Maybe that's what we'll do then, because it's out next week with Maleficent. So we'll do Maleficent and Double Tap.
I'm very interested to see how the sequel does. I loved the first one, but a lot of people are nervous about this second one.
We'll do a SiftPop Double Tap next week.
Yeah.
Do 2 movies.
Should we do story time now or on the air?
Like on the air, man. Let's put it on the podcast.
Okay.
Phil, whenever you're ready, we'll get going. People are just streaming in, so thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it.
Okay. 3, 2.
Live from a bunker in the heart of the Ozarks, a podcast that has to search for its initial review of The Phantom Menace to be punched in the face by a younger version of itself. It's SiftPop.
Was that your first review?
That was a bit of a lengthy one. That was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but was Phantom Menace your first review?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. Welcome to SiftPop, streaming live most weekends, or available to download later in your podcast feed. Unless, of course, you're a patron.
Patrons get perks.
Patrons get those perks.
Woo!
I'm your host, Aaron Dicer, and he's my co-host and someone I'd go 88 miles an hour to spend 8 days a week with.
Whoa.
It's Andrew Ormsby.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Each week we'll chat about movies, television, and whatever else from the pop culture universe is on our minds.
Well, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. It's going to be a good show. I'm excited to talk about both the things we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And which is Gemini Man and El Camino out on Netflix. And then, of course, we've got some other fun stuff as well. We've got our buried treasure, and we've got a best ever challenge of movies with twins in them, which should be a lot of fun. So excited to get to all that. But you've got some story time.
Yeah.
Some Andrew Ormsby story time to kick off the show today.
Yeah. So
what's going on, man?
If you guys haven't noticed how I look like I did like a 1 week Coke alcohol bender.
No, I hadn't noticed that.
Well, I went to a Halloween party last night,
Oh.
and I couldn't fully get all of the paint off of my face.
Okay.
I went as a sexy Viking. Actually, I went as a Viking. It just turned out to be a sexy
right.
Viking.
You can't help yourself.
That's why I got like this on my hand.
Yeah,
and stuff
I mean,
like that.
you can't help yourself, but go.
I went to the mall first, and there's the shop there, Earthbound.
Yeah.
And they had this necklace there. It's a Yggdrasil, which is, Viking, like the world tree and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I'll wear that tonight for the Halloween party. And I get to the Halloween party, I put on the necklace, and I'm walking around, just talking to people, having a good time. And the entire time I'm there, I'm like, this house smells like weed. Like, really, really bad weed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess somebody's, just up in a room somewhere, just smoking a joint or
Somebody's
something
having a good time.
Yeah. So party ends. I'm on my way back home, and I'm like, man, I still smell like weed. This is insane. Get home, shower, do all this stuff, try and get all this makeup off. It didn't really come out of my eyebrows or my eyelashes. And then I'm like, why do I still smell like weed? And then I look down, and I start to sniff. The necklace I got at Earthbound, I guess, was shipped in like a crate of like their hemp oils and stuff like that. It smells so much like weed.
Wow.
And I just had to imagine, because I thought it was the whole house, and it was just
It was
me.
just you.
So everybody's walking by me going, that guy is baked.
That sexy Viking has been doing some ganja.
Exactly. So that was a kind of like one of those, like,
He puts the leaf in Leif Erikson.
That's a great pull right
Thank
there,
you.
people. That's
Thank
a
you.
great pull right
That's
there.
why I'm here.
If that's a dad joke, that might be the most clever dad joke I've ever heard in my life. So I just imagine, in retrospect, I'm looking back, like, how many people thought I was just, token the entire party.
Right, yeah.
Which I don't. I have smoked weed, but I don't smoke weed. So it's like one of those things I'm like, that is, for all the people who don't know me now, they're going to have a weird...
Then you think the necklace was that strong of a smell? Did you, wash it since then?
Yeah.
Oh.
I gave it a full Pine Sol bath.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Honestly, it was definitely potent. Like,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
well, we're glad you sobered up
yeah.
for the show today.
Yeah.
We're glad.
You're a towel.
I think this is all an elaborate, makeup, a necklace that smell that. Yeah, we see what's going on here.
Smoking pot doesn't give you smoky eyes.
Well, it should. All right, man, you ready to get into it?
Oh, let's do it.
All right, let's kick it off with some Do We Care?
Every single week, I scour the internet to find out what is going on in the entertainment world. I pick 3 topics for us to discuss, and we must decide, do we care or not? Number 1, Blizzard Entertainment is facing huge backlash after banning and withholding prize money from a Chinese Hearthstone player for supporting a democratic Hong Kong.
Ooh,
this is where we're kind of getting into a little
political. We're going to talk some politics here.
But it's definitely entertainment news.
Yeah, well, I will say this right off the bat. I haven't studied the China situation enough to even have an opinion on that. But what's fascinating about the Chinese government, I say fascinating, thing is because it's a somewhat of a totalitarian government.
It's communist.
They can do stuff like this. Like they can control what people say, or they can try, I should say.
Okay, let me explain. The Hong Kong government isn't responsible here. I'll give you a full thing on it. So, Hearthstone, I'm sure you know what that is.
Yes.
So, a very prominent Hearthstone player from China went on a talk show, and he was saying, like, he was wearing the mask and the goggles and stuff. It's kind of like associated with the Hong Kong Democratic protests that are going on right now.
Right.
And he went on this talk show, like this e-talk show, and Blizzard saw it. Blizzard, an American company, saw it, and they banned him from future events, and they withheld his prize money because he, an American citizen, supported the Hong Kong protests.
This is fascinating because the same kind of thing is happening in the NBA right now with the Daryl Morey comments, and this is fascinating because it's what happens when you actually have a government that has an economy that businesses need to survive, and I think you start to see the power of money, right? Like you start to see.
I think they said there's over 1 billion Blizzard accounts in China.
Right. And China could shut all those down tomorrow if it wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a fascinating thing, and it will be really interesting to see how companies handle it in an era where you look at the movie industry. The movie industry has dramatically been impacted by the need for movies to do well in China because the economy there is the big economy in the world. So it's fascinating.
I'm making an assumption here, but I'm sure you're not watching this newest season of South Park.
No, I'm not.
That's like the theme for this entire season is going to be communist China, controlling the content that comes out of like Hollywood and stuff. So they're like playing into that really hard, and it's hilarious, I think. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's been huge backlash stateside. People are canceling their WoW subscriptions and stuff like that. I did. I went along with it because I'm like, yeah, it's a really crappy thing to do too.
Yeah.
But money
certainly
talks.
doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, money talks, and it's a sad thing to see.
It is. I long for a post scarcity world where money doesn't have that kind of power. Where people can be, fed and have their needs met without having to worry about any kind of economy.
Yeah.
But that is not a place we live right now. That is for sure.
Number 2.
Yeah, go for it.
Warner Bros. Is working on a Training Day prequel. And you've seen Training Day. Like, obviously they can't do a sequel to that movie. But a prequel, I don't know what story would be there. Would it be like how Denzel Washington's character like turned to the dark side or something?
I mean, maybe it's about maybe they take Denzel's son and have him play like a younger version of him and how he got into the police, like his training day, and what turned him into the person that he was.
I just think it's weird. Like, out of all the movies that you could do a prequel for, Training Day would not be the one I'd be like, guys, you remember how great Training Day was? Yeah, let's do another one. But he's dead. Yeah, let's do one before. It's like there's one producer out there who's really into Training Day and wants to do another movie.
Never underestimate movie studios' desire to milk IP. I mean, it is where they know they have their most chance for success.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I totally get it. It's just I think that Training Day is a weird pull.
Yeah.
From the archives of Hollywood.
No, I understand. Yeah. I just, there are going to be a lot of weird pulls.
Okay.
In Hollywood.
All right.
So
number 3.
Take that however you want.
Yeah.
Continue.
Disney is working on another live-action Inspector Gadget film.
Cool. Bring it on, man.
Yeah.
Will it be with Matthew Broderick?
Probably not.
Okay.
Those movies did not do well.
He's great, though.
Matthew Broderick's great.
I do like Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller, man.
Yeah. No, bring it on. I'm totally for this. This will be fun. I think Disney could do a lot with this property and have a good time. But I also love gadgets, and I think if they lean,
I love inspectors.
Well, together then.
Yeah,
We got a movie for you guys.
It's peanut butter and chocolate of movies going on here.
And we got a movie for you.
I think it should lean heavy into the gadgets. I think part of the problem with, not the problem, but the first movies, it was kind of more leaning into the comedy, which is fine. The comedy's going to be a part of it, but really have fun with the weird gadgets that this guy has.
The thing is, Disney already has I guess they had an Inspector Gadget, Iron Man.
Well, yes,
so,
as a form of that.
Yeah. I think just lean really, like you said, into the gadgets, make Penny and Brain hilarious.
Yep.
Don't show us Dr. Claw. I mean,
Andrew has laid down the gauntlet.
Yeah, seriously.
There will be no Claw.
Do you want to know why Inspector Gadget got a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Just because you showed Dr.
showed us
Claw.
who Dr. Claw was. Did you watch the cartoon at all growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
You get what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. He was a hand and a cat.
That's right.
Yeah. And he had that voice. I'll get you next time, Inspector Gadget. It was kind of like a Jigsaw in a way. But
when you show him, it almost ruins it, right? It takes a lot of the menace out of it. Now all of a sudden it's like Carrie Olsen, Liar Liar, like, here comes the Claw. It's just like, come on.
The Claw. I thought Jim Carrey was the Claw in Liar Liar.
Well, he did a good version, and then Carrie Olsen was like trying to take over for him because he was like the stepdad. You remember this?
I remember Carrie. Oh. Now,
and he was trying to do his version of the Claw.
Yeah, and it just didn't
Here
work.
comes the Claw. So, like, Jim Carrey is the original cartoon version of the Claw, and then the Carrie Olsen is the new one where it's like, here, just show it.
I'm not going to lie, it's been forever since I've seen...
You should watch it again.
Liar, Liar.
You should watch it again.
So it took me a while to get there, but man,
it is great.
So there we go. Yeah, Phil's got it. A mean hand and a cat.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Claw.
Yeah, it's an audio podcast, Andrew. It's an audio podcast.
Are you sure about that?
It is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But Phil did pull up a picture.
But you know what else?
What else?
That's going to wrap it up for Do We Care?
Very nice. Well, we got a couple movies to get to today, so let's get right to them. Mm-hmm. We're going to kick it off with Gemini Man.
25 years ago, he took my blood. He made you from me. He's been lying to you the whole time. He told you you were an orphan. And of all the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you? Because I'm the best. You are obviously not the best. You're just trying to rattle me. I'm trying to save you!
Henry Brogan is an elite assassin who becomes the target of a mysterious operative who can seemingly predict his every move. To his horror, he soon learns that the man who's trying to kill him is a younger, faster, cloned version of himself. The guy's so cool, they named the character's last name Brogun.
Brogun. Bro.
So Ang Lee brings us Gemini Man with Will Smith and Will Smith, or a version thereof. And also brings it to us in HFR, although we didn't have any local HFR showings, so I did not get it.
Did you check to see if Branson had?
I didn't check to see if Branson did. I'm going to be seeing it in HFR this week, so I can report back on whether that makes a difference. In case you don't know, HFR stands for high frame rate.
120.
And he filmed it in 4K, 120 FPS,
Dude.
Both eyes for 3D.
I'm just curious. How many terabytes? Like, what's above a terabyte?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a petabyte.
A petabyte?
Yeah.
How many petabytes? Because it had to have been in that range.
Yeah.
Of just pure...
Well, yeah, raw. It's not even compressed video at that point.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's insane.
It is.
An amount of...
Here's how insane it is. There is literally no theater in the United States of America that can show it in that format. There's literally... It really does not have the capability, any theater in the country, of showing... both eyes at 120 FPS. The highest it can be shown is
like
60 FPS in each eye. So, yeah. So it's pretty incredible.
I wonder if they'll do one of those release later on, like once a theater can actually
I don't know.
do it.
I don't know.
Neither of us have given a general opinion on this movie.
No, we
yet.
haven't. But I wanted to kind of get the technical stuff out there first because we're not really going to talk about that because we didn't see it in that way.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let people know that right up front. But yeah, did you like it? Love it, dislike it, hate it, or it was just okay?
Low side of okay. Like really close to didn't like it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
We're going to agree for once. We've been disagreeing a little.
We've been
disagreeing a lot the last few
I
weeks.
Missed you.
I missed you too, man.
No vigor and vinegar today.
No, I may have liked it a little bit more than you, but I'm firmly in the just okay department.
I can nail down what's wrong with this movie.
Do you want to start there?
Yeah.
All right.
Benioff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's 100% what happened here.
The not the script, but the dialogue in this movie is so cringeworthy. It's so bad.
Yeah.
That
it's not great.
No, it's not even not great. I think that's giving it too much credit.
Well, here's what I think there are several. I don't think it's just that. I think this movie's story itself is really bland. There's not a lot going on here beyond the big story, movement of, it's his younger version of himself, which we all know going in.
I don't think there's really an underlying message in this movie either. There
is a little bit.
I think I see what they were trying to do, but it didn't come across as that message.
Did you pick up on any of the kind of the meta aspect of Will Smith himself and his career, and kind of the idea of digital movie making coming to take over because it's cheaper and you can you understand what I'm saying? Like
I didn't pick up on that.
There's a little bit of meta-ness about the movie industry itself that you can pick up on, but you're right. There's not a lot here that's meaningful beyond what's on the surface, and there is some stuff on the surface about
fixing trying to write your past and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But even that is so wishy-washy on what they were trying to say.
It is. If not wishy-washy, it's very bland. It's there's not a lot to it.
Yeah.
So that I think you're right. I think that is what this movie really. I just came away from it just going, well, I didn't find that interesting.
Yeah.
I just beyond the technical stuff, which I did find very interesting.
That is we are in an age right now where movies like Lion King and now this I can point to and say, I didn't think we could get to this level. And every single time I say that, we're always, somebody pushes the boundary. Yeah. Movies like Lion King and Gemini Man have pushed boundaries in my mind as far as how realistic something looks.
Yeah, we are climbing out of the uncanny valley. That's for sure.
This is a dip in the road right now.
Well, I will tell you,
uncanny puddle, uncanny pothole.
The final scene was the uncanniest of the valleys to me. There's a final scene that's in broad daylight, and
I'm right there with you.
And it was, it was bad. There were moments during that. Scene where I was like, "Whoa, dude! Spend a little more time or change this." But other than that, not only was it in broad daylight, the other difference was there's a difference between joy and consternation. And I wonder if consternation is easier to...
I think you're making up words. I think the word you're looking for is constipated.
No, I think I was going for consternation.
Constitution.
I think maybe it's easier to get a realistic look with all kind of the forehead furrowed and things like that. The smiles are really hard, and I think that is something.
So many muscles go into smiles.
Yes,
that's why I don't do it.
And we are so much more adept at understanding what a real smile on a human looks like, So I don't know. It's one of those things that that there were a couple things going against it, but other than that one scene, it blew me away.
Yeah.
I mean, the emotion and we should say this younger version of Will Smith is a fully digital character in this movie. Now, I'm sure there was reference work done, but as far as what you see on the screen, that's all ones and zeros.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you seen any of the making of?
I have not.
Yeah. Will Smith did both parts.
Right.
They put the dots on his face and everything. And I can only imagine how difficult it is to work with that rig on your head.
Yeah.
And so I got to say, from a performance standpoint, Will Smith doing both of these he's really good.
He is.
He's one
of our best, man.
He is. And what I mean by that is, yes, this is technically a clone of the same person, but you can see in the way that he's doing these performances, like the different upbringing. You know, one was raised, you know, differently than the other. Yes, they may be clones, but I can still tell, besides a different physicality, how different these two guys are.
Yeah.
And I just think, from a performance standpoint, Will Smith really knocks it out of the park.
I really, really, really love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She is one of my favorite new actresses.
She's not a damsel in distress in this one.
No, she's not.
She's kicking butt.
And she wasn't in 10 Cloverfield Lane either. Like, she's...
More so in this, because technically she was a damsel in distress.
Well, but she was... when I hear that, I think of somebody who needs to be saved.
Yeah. She was saved
right.
in 10 Cloverfield Lane. I understand what you're saying. I was just going for a joke.
Anyhow,
yeah.
Benedict Wong, anytime he pops up, I'm a fan.
Not in this, though.
Really? You didn't think he was funny? I thought he was great comic relief.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I just saw him like that was his sole purpose, and I need a character to be more than that.
Yeah.
In a movie where so much is lacking, I'm like, you can't just have somebody that basic.
Yeah.
But like you, I love Benedict Wong. I think he's great, but in this one, he just didn't really serve any purpose at all.
There are, since we're on negatives, the other thing in this that was really weird to me in this movie is the way it treated secondary characters. Or maybe tertiary characters, maybe, you know, not even the secondary characters, but the level beyond that. There were a couple moments where we would go to, you know, and I don't want to do any spoilers, so this could be, I promise you, one of about 4 or 5 different characters we meet. And they are funny, engaging, have good chemistry with Will Smith. And then they're gone for the rest of the movie. And it's like, why did you just introduce me to that cool guy and then nothing else, you know? Yeah. And there are various reasons they're gone for the rest of the movie on the various different characters. But I swear that happens with 4 or 5 different characters in this movie. And what is that? It's really strange, right?
I totally get it, yeah. Are you setting up sequels like where they come back or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess in some weird way there's an authenticity to that most movies don't have.
Yeah, because some people just disappear.
That's right. In most movies, if you have a speaking role, you play a part in the story, and in this one that is not true.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe you should applaud the movie for that a little bit, but I think there's a reason that movies, you know, kind of condense the characters in a way.
This movie's not going for realism.
Yeah, right. No, fair enough. That's a great point.
Yeah.
You don't get bonus points for something you weren't trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was an interesting thing to me as well.
Yeah. There's an action sequence in this. I'll just say it takes place in Colombia. That doesn't really give anything away. It might be one of the best action sequences ever.
It is the sole reason.
You're just okay with this movie? Instead of hating it?
That's not what I was going to say, but you might be right.
Yeah.
Because it is mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
It is really good. But no, it is the sole reason that I'm going to seek out an HFR theater and make sure I see this in high frame rate, because I cannot wait to see the action in this movie at 60 frames a second in 3D. Like, I'm very, very excited. So it's great. And there's a couple other action scenes that are okay too, but the one you're talking about is amazing.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I could say go see the movie just for that.
Sure. Yeah.
But the rest of the movie, I'm like, it sounds weird. After that's over, you can leave. You don't need to see the rest of the movie.
I mean, maybe for the technical achievement, maybe for Will Smith's performance, which we both really liked.
Yeah. You know whose performance I really didn't like?
Oh, tell me.
Clive Owen.
Oh, why not?
He's like, guess who's the villain? Hey!
But this whole movie's kind of like that. This whole movie is right there on the surface. It's not like the movie was trying to hide that fact in any way.
But like, I don't see any there's with a good villain, you understand where they're coming from. He's just as basic a villain as Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy. No, you're right.
No, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
that is definitely a fair point.
Like, he's given horrible dialogue to really make you think that he's like trying to be good, but it's so bad, and his performance is so phoned in, I think, that it just doesn't come across as anything worth viewing.
Yeah.
He's like, who's getting a paycheck? This guy.
It does feel, I mean, again, lots of things go into her performance. He's not given a lot of good material to work with here.
Thanks, Benioff. Does this make
somebody's bitter?
Does this movie and like how it's written and stuff make you worried about the Star Wars stuff that Benioff's going to be working on?
No, my brain doesn't operate that way. It just
Really?
like, yeah, I don't. I was just having a conversation with somebody about this recently that I am just the person who gives every piece of content the shot and then decides then, because there are too many examples of writers who have written stuff I thought was terrible that, you know, then blew me away, or vice versa. Yeah. By the way, you know what I mean? There's just, again, there are so many factors, especially with movies, that I just don't get worried. The only time I get worried is if I'm really invested in the material itself. Then maybe a little bit of worry will creep in, like, oh, I want this to be so good, you know. But Star Wars, even stuff I'm really excited about like that I love, I'm not invested in a way that, you know, ties anything meaningful about myself to it. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to hurt me if it's bad. So no, I'm not too worried.
Fair enough.
We'll see what happens.
Okay. You got anything else you want to throw at this movie?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it. There's no post-credit scene.
No post-credit scene.
I stole your...
Yeah, you did.
Stole your one more thing.
This isn't really a dig. It's going to sound like a dig, and I don't mean it to be.
I love it.
Do you remember whenever we were doing our possible, like, potential movie awards?
Yeah.
And you said that you thought that this might be a contender, like it might be a Best Picture contender?
Mm-hmm.
No,
not at all.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. No. I don't even see Will Smith cracking into the actor race.
Actually, there's one award.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying there's so many.
He's not beating
acting
Joaquin
performances. Yeah.
This movie will win an award. Well, it's up between it and Lion King for digital effects or something like that. So
yeah,
this is going to be
visual effects. I think is the award. Yeah.
What did I say?
Digital effects.
Yeah. It's the same thing, pretty much.
Pretty much now.
Yeah.
Kind of is.
But, yeah, I could see that's the only one it's, like, going to be nominated for. Although it might be nominated for, like, cinematography, because some of the camera work that's going on during that Columbia is, like, so good. That whole action scene is just so good.
Yeah.
But,
for one, here's how I'll sum up my views. I, for one, am thankful that there are directors like Ang Lee who want to push the boundaries of technology, who want to see what they can, you know, do with the newest, latest, greatest tech. James Cameron is the same way.
James Cameron.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad that they are doing it. In this case, the material just didn't live up to... and that's not to say you can't do both. You can. It's just in this case, I think the story forest is lost in the technical trees.
I think a good example of a movie doing both is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fair.
So
very fair indeed. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to our second movie of the week. Let's talk about El Camino.
I get high, I get low. Oh, that's the way these things go. I saw my face in the mirror, and Lord, I know I've changed, though I look.
El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. That's the full title. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, reunites fans with Jesse Pinkman. In the wake of his dramatic escape from captivity, Jesse must come to terms with his past in order to forge some kind of future. This gripping thriller is written and directed by Vince Gilligan, who did Breaking Bad, as well as many of the greatest X-Files episodes.
Yes, he did.
As well as the movie Hancock. At least he wrote that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's one of his first things. I love Vince Gilligan. I'm kind of a fanboy.
I know that.
A little bit of a Vince Gilligan fanboy. So he is bringing this universe back with this movie. It's about 2 hours long, and it solely focuses, I shouldn't say solely, but it focuses on Jesse Pinkman's time right after that. So what did you think? It's on Netflix, by the way.
Yes.
Did you like it, love it, dislike it, hate it, or was it just okay?
I really liked it.
I really liked it as well. It's agreement all day long. Yay!
Mom and Dad are back together.
Oh, buddy.
I had a really good time with this.
I did too.
It didn't blow me away.
No.
It wasn't one of those things where I came away going, oh, but it was one of those things I came away going, I'm so glad he did that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed checking in on this story and kind of seeing where it went.
Aaron Paul still got it, man.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, he's so good in this. Like, at the beginning of this movie, when he's going through, like, his PTSD moments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just so authentic and, like, heartbreaking because we're going to spoil Breaking Bad. We're not going to spoil El Camino in this discussion.
Right.
But we're going to spoil Breaking Bad.
Yeah, if you have not seen Breaking Bad, then, yeah, you may hear some things.
It's the only way we can do any kind of discussion.
Oh, totally,
for this.
totally.
So, this is, Walter White's dead, and he is escaping literally in the El Camino. That's like the beginning of this movie. It picks up right where this movie leaves off from the show. People have aged well, besides like Jesse Pullman. He looks a little bit...
Plemons, you mean?
What did I say? Oh, Pullman, yeah. No, yeah, Jesse Plemons. He's a little bit thicker, and he looks a little bit older than he did in the show, which, it happens.
Still the same character, though.
Still the same character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He's a good actor.
Now, just by saying that, if you know anything about Breaking Bad, you know that this movie deals in flashbacks.
Yes.
And I'm just going to start here because I think it's really the only thing I didn't like about the movie, and even this isn't that much. I think because of that, because the structure is so flashback dependent, that it does hurt the pacing of the movie every once in a while. I think because we are forced to jump back and forth in time so much that the movie loses a little bit of forward momentum. It's not horrible. It's not bad. It was never to the point where I was like, oh, can we just get on with this? But there's this thing that Vince Gilligan can do and did in Breaking Bad where the energy of the story picks up momentum, and then by the end, it's just like, this isn't able to do that because it has to keep jumping back or because it wants to keep jumping back and telling more of the story.
I did go back and I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons in preparation for this movie.
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan does a lot of flashbacks in those first 2 seasons.
He does some.
Yeah, there's a lot more than I remember.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
maybe it's just I remember them because after watching this movie, like you, I'm like, man, there was a lot of flashbacks. But then I started thinking, oh yeah, there was a lot of flashbacks in Breaking Bad too. Like Walter White, like going back to when he, before he was a teacher and he worked for, it's the German name of that company?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's Black and Gray, or it's White and Gray in German.
Okay.
Because his partner, his last name was Gray.
Right.
So, anyway, so like, yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks in this show. I was worried that the show was going to do that just for cameo's sake, but I think every single flashback, most every flashback had a purpose that was actually,
I felt meaningful to me.
Yeah, it wasn't just there for flashback's sake.
There were at least two that I can think of specifically. And maybe even 3 of these flashback moments that were really emotional for me.
There's one out in the desert.
There's one out in the desert.
Yeah.
There was one. Actually, this wasn't a flashback that I got emotional at. I guess all this to say, I found this movie really emotional.
Yeah.
Like I thought there were some really beautiful moments, character moments. But there's a Skinny Pete moment in this that just it caught me off guard out of nowhere and kind of welled up a little bit. And yeah, it's just it's really well done. I had a really good time kind of experiencing these characters again and going through this.
I was worried going into this movie that they weren't going to give me any like real reason for re-entering Breaking Bad world. I guess maybe Better Call Saul has like, you know, kind of eased into like, oh, you're not just making this movie just because you can make this movie.
Right, yeah.
It felt like, you know, I was, as most of us were, we were curious what was going to happen with Jesse. Mm-hmm. And I think that this movie kind of delivers on that, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good send-off.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think visually, Vince Gilligan has some of his nice Vince Gilligan touches in this movie. There is a scene where he is looking for something, and Vince does this shot from above.
Oh, that was so cool.
It blew me away. I was like, I'm in my brain, it was so good that I actually got distracted by thinking how did he do this? You know? So yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah. He also has some great scenery shots in this movie, you know, just to make you realize how barren yet beautiful this area.
The Albuquerque wasteland.
Wasteland. Wasteland is a little harsh. But,
yeah, well,
there's a lot of apparently bodies and drugs buried out there.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, man, this beautifully shot, beautifully performed. And it's not to give too much away, but the stakes aren't really that high in this. But
not overall, but
compared to what was going on in Breaking Bad.
Not overall, but somehow in a couple moments he manages to turn up the stakes really high in some really tense, you know, ways. And that, when I say the flashbacks kind of hurt the pacing, that for me is kind of what I'm talking about, because these big moments, and I don't want to spoil them, that happen aren't given the room they need to continue to build on each other. And so we're just kind of left with sporadic, big, tense moments that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed them anyway, but yeah, that just kind of further explains a little bit of what I was talking about with the pacing. But there is an Old West type standoff in this movie that is really fun and really tense.
Yeah.
So
good villain.
And funny.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost his sense of humor either. You know, there's some really funny stuff in this.
You can tell that the Jesse that we saw from like the first couple seasons is not the same Jesse because of what happened to him in that final season when he was kidnapped and imprisoned and stuff. And that definitely changed him. And you could see he has a kind of mentality of, I'm going to survive. I'm going to do what I can to survive. But if this is my time, then hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So, man, Aaron Paul's good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. Way to go, fellow Aaron.
Yes.
You have done well.
My second favorite Aaron of all time. Aaron Dicer.
Somewhere Aaron Eckhart is crying in a corner.
He's a good Two-Face.
Anything else you wanted to mention about this? I feel like we haven't said a ton, but that's kind of because, I don't know, it's not something we want to spoil for you if you're a Breaking Bad fan.
Yeah,
so.
it does feel like Breaking Bad. I will say that. It doesn't feel like it's, overly produced, and it feels like it's outside of like how the tone and the vibrancy that you got from Breaking Bad. It feels like a long Breaking Bad episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
I totally agree.
Good job, Vince.
He hasn't let me down yet.
No.
Better Call Saul is still one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it to come back.
Ditto.
Oh, Vince.
I gotta watch season 3 or 4, whatever this newest season was.
Really?
Yeah.
You're behind on Better Call Saul?
I'm behind.
Oh, I'm judging you. Judging you. Not really. Yeah.
Ding, shame. Shame.
If you enjoyed Breaking Bad, and if you didn't, why not? But if you enjoyed Breaking Bad, I think you're gonna have a great time with El Camino. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. Ready to move on to the best ever challenge?
Yeah, buddy.
All right, we're going to do best ever twin movies, and those are going to be movies that feature twins. So,
I have a feeling.
Yes.
We both have the exact same top 5, just in a different order.
Yeah. I mean, I really like my top 5.
Yeah. Besides,
I can't imagine which. Yeah. No, I think you're right. In fact, I think my 5 may be your number 1. It just depends on, let's just go through it, shall we?
I want you to start off, though.
My 5 is The Shining.
Mine, too.
Oh, well, very nice.
Yeah.
We're 1 for 1.
Hey.
Wow, I don't know if there's ever been an episode of SiftPop with more agreement than this one so far.
Man. What he doesn't know, ladies and gentlemen, is that I hacked into his computer, saw all of his decisions and lists, and I just copied and pasted.
Andrew was like, we've got to bring back the unity
gotta bring
in
back the
SiftPop.
love.
Yeah, I have The Shining at number 5.
Yeah.
It is absolutely astonishing performance. There's some astonishing work going on here. It is. I'm not a horror movie guy.
Yeah.
But I can really respect this movie and how well it's made. Yeah. So,
come play with us, Danny.
That's the most of my my thoughts. It recently came out with a restoration. Did you go see it?
No,
restored.
No. I am excited for Dr. Sleep though. That's going to be a fun movie.
Yeah, that's why it came out, right? Because of the is it a prequel that's coming out? Sequel that's coming out.
Yeah, Danny Torrance is all grown up.
Oh, very nice.
Ewan McGregor.
So that's my number 5, and also yours as well. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
No, like you said, it's the story of the making of the movie is almost as fascinating as the actual movie itself. So if you haven't seen the making of the Shining documentary, really, really good. I just wanted to give that a shout out.
All right, number 4,
adaptation.
I have it at number 3.
Okay,
so far you are correct. Yep. Close enough.
If you have it at 3, I'll let you go ahead.
Well, we just talked about it last week, didn't we?
Did we? Oh yeah, we did. Because I mistook it for Anomalisa.
Yes.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this movie is great.
Adaptation is the prime example of meta filmmaking. In the meta dictionary under meta,
it just has a picture.
It has a picture of Nicolas Cage in adaptation.
Yeah.
And says, which character is this?
Donald Kaufman is one of the most likable characters I've ever seen in any movie ever.
Yeah. No, true.
You gotta love him. And the fact that Nick Cage can do that at such a polarizing end for Charlie Kaufman just shows that if he wants to, he can really put in a good performance to a movie.
Yeah.
It just has to be weird enough for his weirdness to, be tolerable.
Yeah.
But you also have other great, performances. Meryl Streep is great in adaptation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Is this a movie that you think... I don't know who I'd recommend this movie to.
Everyone.
You would recommend it to everybody?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one of those things like, oh, you didn't like it? Man, that's too bad.
No, I recommend it to everyone, and then if they don't like it, then I just don't ever talk to them again. It's how I weed out my friend list.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Welcome to the movie that will determine if we could be friends.
All right.
You ready for
your number?
My number 4
yeah.
is Star Wars: A New Hope.
I'll trump you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your number 2? Or your number 3?
Yeah, my number 3 is Social Network.
Yeah, it's my number 2.
Okay. So I knew it! There's only one movie left, and I know it's your number 1. I knew it! So, wait, what are we talking about? Social Network.
Know
Social
anymore.
Network.
Who knows anymore, Andrew?
The Winklevi.
Yeah.
As they're hilariously called in this movie.
Yes.
Man, this movie is good. Oh, man. Fincher is not doing a crazy, dark, evil movie here.
Yeah.
Well, to some extent.
I was going to say, it's kind of...
Compared to Seven...
It's pretty crazy. And when you really think about it, it's fairly dark.
Compared to Seven and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and all of his other movies, this is tame. Even Fight Club is, this tames Fight Club.
Sorkin putting in some great work here.
This is like... Besides West Wing, this is like pure Sorkin dialogue. Mm-hmm. You can definitely tell. But it's believable because, you think of Silicon Valley and that type of mentality and like that fast pace, just gotta talk.
Yep.
And it really lends itself. So I think this is a beautiful pairing between Sorkin and Fincher.
I think Sorkin and Fincher should just work together for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I believe, watching this, I believe that Jesse Eisenberg really was Zuckerberg. The way his mannerisms, the way he acted, I was bought and sold every minute of it. So
yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah. So you're number 2?
My number 2 is Social Network.
Okay.
Or Social Set Work.
Social Set Work.
If you prefer.
So then
I've just got my number 1, which you know, and you've got your number 1, which I know.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about yours first.
It's The Prestige.
It's The Prestige. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a movie.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
It's a great list, man. There's some twins in great movies.
Well, I think
at least in the top 5.
It's a fair. There's like a fair amount of like superb prestige or pristine movies, but it came out as Prestige that have twins in them, and then the rest are like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen movies. Man, when I was looking through, like the entire internet was like, "Oh, did you mean Mary Kate and Ashley movies?"
Yeah, the bottom 5 is filled with those movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is the only movie on the list where saying it's a movie with twins is almost a spoiler.
Yeah.
So there is that. Although with the Magician movie, you could kind of assume that is going on. I think people would be blown away if they knew how many twins work in magic. Like it's just it's the easiest, simplest trick, but audiences just believe it. It's
got a double.
A double.
That's my Michael Caine. He's got a double.
Caine. I don't know what there remains to be said about The Prestige, other than if you somehow haven't seen it,
What are you doing?
see it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, this is the easiest movie to recommend to anybody because I don't think there's a single person on the planet who wouldn't appreciate it.
Oh, I just love it so much.
Yeah.
I love the story in it. I love the message of it. I love the fact that it's also about movie making as much as it's about magic.
Yeah.
And the way Nolan, I mean, Nolan is a meta god, like he loves doing meta things almost as much as Charlie Kaufman and Spike Jonze do. He just does them in almost a grander kind of way,
That's
storytelling
a great way of putting it, grander. Yeah.
Prestige is just, it's a must see.
I think it's
for any movie lover.
I think it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's a perfect movie.
That's why it's in my top movies of all time.
But for me, it can't beat Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
it can.
I go back. I can just pick any Star Wars movie that has to do with Luke and Leia, and I'll just pick Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
because I think that's a perfect movie.
Yeah, I usually just pick A New Hope because it's kind of the purest one to me because it started it off. I don't know that I would say if you're telling me which one's the best. I'd probably go with Last Jedi.
But then
no, I just said that because we can't agree the whole episode.
I honestly, like, if the Horrible Movie Podcast is any indication, we usually go with like really easily searchable names. Like
Disney Plus cast.
I mean, that's probably taken.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Hey.
All right. Well, we were back.
Everybody.
I thought we were back there for a second. But I think maybe we're back. I don't even know.
I'm going to change the background real quick and see if it...
So hello, if you're still with us. I think like 4 or 5 people hung on. So thank you for hanging around. The rest maybe will come back. Who knows? But we'll just kind of keep trucking along. The background just changed in the preview. So I think we're live again. So yeah. Pipe up in the chat and say hello. We're just going to continue back where our conversation was so that Phil can edit this into the podcast proper. If you're watching this on YouTube, you probably...
You're going to have a weird experience.
Yeah, well, will it be 3 minutes of nothing, or will it put them together? I have no idea how that's going to work.
Andrew probably knows better than me. Because I didn't complete the event, I'm assuming it'd be a little frame hiccup, and then it would go straight to...
I would think so.
It splices.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm pretty sure it splices.
We'll see what happens. Okay, let's get back into it, shall we?
So, honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions for best twin movies. There are some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're at the caliber of like the top 5.
Well,
I think there's a pretty good drop in quality.
What about Enemy?
I do love Denis Villeneuve.
See? There's one that's...
But it's my least favorite Denis Villeneuve movie.
What about Bowfinger?
That sounds so familiar. Which?
It's Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
Oh, Bowfinger.
Playing both parts.
Yeah, that's true. Is he the twin, though?
I think so.
Or is he just a lookalike?
Oh, maybe he's just a doppelganger.
Where does
that is a distinction.
Yeah, Chubby Rain, man.
Yeah.
Where's the movie Twins sit.
Yeah, it was actually my first honorable mention.
It's on there.
Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
No, you're right. You're right though. It's not. There's nothing of that quality really.
Yeah.
Although I do have a soft place in my heart for the Parent Trap.
Yeah.
Especially the original Parent Trap. I think is really sweet, really well done. Although the new one's not bad either.
No, I was gonna say I like the Lindsay Lohan one. This movie's not great. Actually, it's not even good, but it's fun. If that makes sense. Stuck on You.
Oh yeah.
With Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And, is it Greg Kinnear?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the name of that movie.
Yeah. No, that's no good.
Skeleton Twins is good.
Skeleton Twins is another one I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Man in the Iron Mask.
I have that as well.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that one. Legend.
Oh, Legend. I was just about to say Legend with Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that movie as much as I was hoping it would.
No, I like his performances, but I didn't necessarily like the movie all that much.
Yeah.
The chat wants to know about Jack and Jill.
No. Nope.
Greatest movie of all time.
Nope. And that is why we don't go to the chat during the show. All right. Army of Darkness has twins. Worth mentioning.
Really?
Sure it does.
Well, I love Army of Darkness.
Double Impact.
Oh, with Jean-Claude.
All right, that's all I've got.
And it does drop
Hey,
off.
you're really
The quality does drop off quite a bit.
Bottom of the barrel
That is for sure.
with Jack and Jill and Double Impact. I think Double Impact's more of a guilty pleasure movie,
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
but not Jack and Jill.
All right, before we move on to our buried treasure and finish this thing out, just a huge thank you to our SiftPop members. We appreciate you. We love you. We are actually doing some upgrades currently with the way we're able to live stream this video to YouTube. And if you've watched the YouTube of this recording, you know, maybe we need to do some upgrades on some stuff. So
that was just a technical difficulty.
it's always just a technical difficulty, isn't it? So thank you for your support. Because of your support, we are able to do that stuff. Some more thank yous, more new SiftPop members coming in this last week. I think since we talked last week, Matt came in at $5 a month. Darren came in at $20 a month, and Michael came in at $10 a month. Guys, that's incredible.
Thank you so much.
And those are all 3 different levels with different perks and different fun stuff that SiftPop is able to give
put
you.
a roof over your head?
Yeah, one of those is what I forget what the roofing crew.
Roofing crew.
Yeah, I think Darren's a part of the roofing crew now.
Nice.
So thank you, Darren. I'll get up on my roof now that it's cold and sign another shingle.
Just as a weather report for the Ozarks, it dropped off and it got cold really quick. There was
did.
no subtle shift.
No fall. There was no fall.
Yeah.
It went from 80 to 30,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Thanks, Missouri.
Well, thanks, Missouri, but more authentically and honestly, thank you to our SiftPop members
Yes.
and to our new members. We really appreciate you guys. You're allowing us to put out some fun content, and we couldn't do it without you. So much appreciated.
You all are the real MVPs.
The real MVPs. All right, let's move on to our buried treasure. What's that one thing in any area of pop culture that you want to make sure people know about?
I'm going to go with a show that I just started rewatching because I loved it so much.
Nice.
The Newsroom.
Yes. Speaking of Sorkin.
Yeah. I like how we kind of tied that in. I think The Newsroom, the season 1 and season 2 might be some of the best TV ever made.
I think the Newsroom pilot may be one of the best pilots ever produced.
I do say, I firmly believe that the pilot for Newsroom is the greatest pilot for any show ever.
Wow. So you've got it at number 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like
Actually,
the Lost pilot too.
Oh man, Lost Pilot's good. But the opening of the pilot for Newsroom,
Yeah.
whenever he's giving that speech at that university, is one of the most like eye-opening.
Why is America the greatest country?
It's not.
It's not. Yeah.
And like when you listen to that, you're like, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps. Look at this, people. Thinking about the opening of that show, it just got me goosebumps.
Audio podcast, Andrew. Audio podcast.
Tell that to YouTube. Well, maybe that's why the internet went out. It wanted this to be an only audio podcast.
Yeah, right.
So it was
yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
No, that's a great choice. I'm glad you're rewatching it. I enjoyed it all the way through. I love Sorkin.
I didn't love the last season as much.
Really?
because I felt it was rushed, which HBO stopped doing that.
Yeah, it was a little bit rushed, but it's still, I mean, rushed Sorkin is still better than 90% of everything out there. So,
did you ever, I know you started West Wing. Did you ever finish West Wing?
I have not finished it.
Okay.
I kind of go back to it every time I have a chance to do another episode. I'm kind of savoring it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Imagine,
it is really good.
Imagine that.
But a lot of people would disagree with me. I think that Newsroom is better than West Wing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that quality over quantity, there's some phenomenal episodes of West Wing.
Well, you want to hear my hot take?
Yeah.
I think Sports Night is better than all of them.
Whoa, son, what's going on?
I love Sports Night. It's my favorite Sorkin show.
Was Sports Night before or after West Wing?
After West Wing. I think it was the next thing he did after West Wing.
Okay. He said after Newsroom he's not doing TV anymore, which is really sad.
It is sad because Studio 60 is great too.
I never saw that one.
You never saw Studio 60?
Mm-mm.
Very nice.
Yeah,
it's very good stuff.
Maybe that might be a buried treasure for me later on.
Maybe it
but
could
no,
be.
I cannot recommend Newsroom enough. It's so good.
Well, interesting that you went back to something you love because I did. I went back to something I love as well.
What is with this podcast, you and I?
It's a mobile game. Called Influence. I may have actually talked about it before on the podcast, but I have fallen in love again with this game. I forgot how good it was, and they've added some new modes to it that I find really, really fun. The basics of this game are similar to the basics of Risk.
You sold me already.
Or, a dice game where you take over places of, on a board, and then you can put troops in different places. In this case, it's just numbers, and those numbers represent quote unquote influence. But then you attack numbers with other numbers, and you see if you win, and there's a certain percent chance if you have one less than them, like you have a 25% chance of winning. There's a lot of really cool strategy in this game that I really enjoy. And then they added a duel mode that matches you with other online players, and so you can kind of get your online ranking up kind of thing. And then they also added tournaments, which are really fun. And the tournaments are really cool because they have different and interesting play rules, so you're always having to adapt your strategy. And so I've really re-fallen in love with this game, and it is just one of those games I think I will play for my life. It's just that fun. Like a lot of mobile games I'll download and I'll be like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I beat it. Or, oh, I'm kind of tired of it now. But this one I think I'll play for life.
Are there any microtransactions?
No.
Wow.
No microtransactions, no ads, free.
Man.
Influence.
It's so different from my Marvel Strike Force. Which, by the way, I spent a couple $100 in the last couple days.
Yeah,
on it.
we all assume, Andrew.
Yeah.
We all assume you're spending all of your supplemental income on
a lot of money went into that game. But I'm glad you found a free fun game.
Yes.
I don't know what that's like.
Wait, for people who always wonder where are the whales, this is the picture of a whale right now.
Oh yeah, I am firmly I am the epitome of a whale. So
yeah, especially today with all the makeup still on and
yeah. Thanks.
And the stench of marijuana coming from the other side of the room.
No, I pine sawed it. It doesn't smell. Actually, nope, it doesn't smell like weed anymore.
Very good, very good.
It smells like cheap weed too.
There you go, Andrew.
Yeah,
we did it.
Woo!
We did a big old hug of a podcast where we agreed on everything.
I love this podcast.
I'm so glad you guys made up.
Yes, it's very nice.
By the way, I went and I rewatched Joker.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's still one of the greatest movies.
Still a masterpiece?
It's still a masterpiece.
You just had to ruin our perfect day.
I know.
Bringing up Joker.
Sorry, man. I need people to see this movie. It's so good. But I'm so glad we had an episode where we were friends again.
It was a love fest. Yeah. It was an absolute love fest. Thanks so much for joining us today for SiftPop. It is part of the Studio DNA Podcast Network. You can find out more about other shows on the network at studiodna.media or by searching Studio DNA in your podcast player of choice. Huge thanks to Andrew for hanging out again.
I love you, man.
I love you, too. Huge thanks to Phil for producing the show, both audio and video. And if you want to check out the video, that is on YouTube.
Phil didn't say I love you back.
Yeah, Phil.
I know. Call back.
Pulling the solo on you. Much love and gratitude to our SiftPop members for giving monthly to make SiftPop a real thing. Support starts at $3 a month, and you get access to every bonus episode. We try to do one of those every single week. We try to send you some bonus audio of us talking about something or other. So we'll do another one here in a little bit, and that will go to all of our members at every level. Also, there's a monthly video hangout, that kind of fun stuff. Check it all out at patreon.com/SiftPop. Lots of ways to connect with us. Feel free to comment, rate, throw some stars at us on Apple Podcasts. You can also email us with your Sift quest at feedback@siftpop.com. Any question you have for us, we'd love to answer. And finally, if you're having a good time, your movie-loving friends will probably like the show too, so make sure you let them know about it, and that listening is much easier than breaking a properly welded gusset. We will be back next week to talk about Maleficent 2 and probably Zombieland Double Tap as well. Got another 2 for next week, and stay tuned for a few spoilers that we'll do separately in your podcast feed. See you next week.
You need fish plates.
Fish plates.
Fish plates.
Fish plates. Fish plates. Definitely fish plates.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to the live chat for putting up with us. Hey, people came back. Awesome. Thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. Yeah, very much. SP 2.0 is in the chat saying hello. Artist Project still hanging out, says haven't got to newsroom yet. Don't know if this counts, but The Night Of takes the crown for pilot episodes. Yeah, that counts. Night Of was really good. I don't remember the pilot being any more spectacular than the rest, but it was a good show for sure.
Why The Night Of? That sounds so familiar.
People are 100% sure that mentioning The Last Jedi completely messed up the stream, and that's why the internet went down. So.
I like it.
Llama Dungeon says, I thought it was just a pause for effect at first, and then I realized it actually crashed.
Oh, yeah, The Night Of. Now the Reese Ahmed and John Turturro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
It took me a second to remember which one. Yeah, but unfortunately, the rest of the show didn't live up to how good the pilot was.
I enjoyed the whole show.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think that the pilot was so good. And,
interesting.
Very
cool.
So I'm right there with who was that? That was it.
That
Demon Llama?
was
Llama Dungeon?
no. That was Artist Project.
Llama Dungeon is still one of my favorite tags. That's just a great name. Llama Dungeon.
Love you guys.
Yep. Bye.
We'll see you next.